Continuing our discussion on quantum body, the new science of living a longer, healthier, and more vital life. My book with Jack Tuzinski, PhD, quantum biologist, quantum physicist, and Brian Fertig, fellow endocrinologist. Today, I want to actually discuss once again the idea of what we might call species-specific perceptual reality. So before we go into the deeper significance of that, here are some examples of different perceivable realities in different biological organisms. 1. Color vision. Most humans have trichromatic vision, meaning we can perceive 3 different colors: red, green, and blue. However, some people have dichromatic vision, 2-color vision, or monochromatic, 1-color vision. And some animals, such as bees and dogs, have tetrachromatic vision, 4-color vision. Let's look at the sense of smell. Humans have a relatively poor sense of smell compared to many other animals, such as dogs and snakes. Dogs have about 3 million olfactory receptors in their noses, while humans only have 5 million. Snakes also have a very good sense of smell, which they use to track prey and find mates. Let's look at hearing. Humans can hear sounds in the frequency of 20 hertz to about 20 kilohertz. So 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, let's say. However, some animals, such as bats and dogs, can hear sounds outside of this range. Bats can hear sounds as high as 110,000 hertz, which they use to echolocate in the dark. Dogs can hear sounds as low as 10 hertz, which is much lower than the human range of hearing. Magnetoreception. Some animals, such as birds and turtles, can sense the Earth's magnetic field. So that's a quantum ability. This ability is thought to help them navigate long distances. Then there's electrical sensing. Some animals, such as sharks and electrical eels, can sense and generate electrical fields. Sharks use this ability to detect prey and navigate, while electrical eels use it to defend themselves and communicate with other eels. Here are some additional examples. Snakes have a special organ called the Jacobson organ, which allows them to smell in a way that is different from humans. The Jacobson organ is located in the roof of the snake's mouth, and it is used to detect scents from the environment. Fish can have a special sense called the lateral line system, which allows them to detect changes in water pressure and movement. The lateral line system is made up of a sense of canals and pores in the fish's body, and it is used to help the fish navigate, avoid predators, and find food. Bees can see in ultraviolet spectrum, which allows them to see flowers that are invisible to humans. Did you know there are flowers that are invisible to humans? Bees use their ultraviolet vision to find food and navigate. Okay, so what does this mean? Is there such a thing as objective reality or observer-free reality? And so, when you ask experts about this, they say yes, the objective free reality is beyond perceived reality. It is atoms and particles and force fields and on, gravity. But then when you ask the experts, are these actually experiences? Gravity, electromagnetic activity, force fields, are they actually experiences before we create models of reality? So most scientists say, no, that's fundamental physical substrate of all perceived reality. That is atoms, molecules, force fields, and gravity. But then you ask them, is that not an experience and a human model for reality? And the answer you get from experts is yes. You have to kind of squeeze it out of them. And once they agree on that, then they will concede that it is important to consider the nature of perception itself. And perception is the process by which living organisms interpret information in them and in all around them and everywhere else from the environment. And this information is gathered by the senses and then processed by the brain. And then in consciousness, we construct a model of reality. And so, in conclusion, it is possible to conceive of the physical substrate of all perceived reality as atoms, molecules, force fields, and gravity as an experience and then a human model for reality. So recognize that anything we use a word for, electricity, electromagnetism, force fields, gravity, stars, galaxies, the human body, other species, these are human models of reality. And fundamental reality is beyond all of that. It is incomprehensible. It is that which allows us to create models of reality, pure consciousness, infinite possibilities, non local, outside of space and time, entangled with everything that exists, manifesting through the uncertainty principle. And everything else that we talk about, even at the quantum level, is a model of reality, whether it's superposition or entanglement or the uncertainty principle, all of those are human models of reality. The quantum universe is a human universe. Just recognize that because it's a model. What is real? Infinite and incomprehensible and irreducible and fundamental and spaceless and timeless and borderless, and that which cannot be imagined but which makes imagination possible, that which cannot be accessed by thought but which is the source of thought, that which has no form but is the source of all form, that which doesn't exist in time but is the source of what we call space-time and causality. And what is that? That is you. You are the universe. But the experience of the universe is a human experience of the universe. Why should we know this? Well, because this is the only way to find our true identity, which is beyond all provisional identities, including sexual identity, human identity, racial identity, religious identity, and national identity, and even earth-centric identity. Beyond all these is the true self, and that is Atman and Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. It's the only way to go beyond the experience of suffering and conflict and all the anguish we create in the name of religion, God, community, and ethnic identity and national identity. True identity, absolute identity, is beyond all of that, and that is the only way to know our true self and be liberated from conflict and the delusion of the separate mind.